Hey y'all, this is Crissy O here from Crissy O's Clucky Chronicles YouTube channel and CrissyOShow.com. And I'm coming at you from my little slice of heaven down here on the homestead, farmstead, whatever kind of stead you want to call it, in the heart of Eastern North Carolina. So pull you up a rocking chair on the porch, grab yourself a sweet tea or coffee. Because Lord knows, let me tell y'all, fall is knocking at the door. We're going to chat about this magical time of year for some of y'all. Not magical for me. I'm not a fan of fall or winter, but some of y'all like it, so we're going to talk about it. We're right here in the September, so if you're peeking out your window like I am, you know you can feel it. Even though it's still a little warm outside, the air's got a little bit of a crisp edge, like the good Lord whispering, y'all, summer's fixing to be done. Wave it goodbye. So anyway, welcome back to another episode of Crissy O's Clucky Chronicles. We're going to holler about fall. We're going to keep it real, keep it rural. I said that word, y'all. And keep it fun. So today what I want to do is dive into some seasonal changes heading into fall, especially how our feathered friends, you know what I'm talking about, the pecking crew, them sassy chickens is gearing up for the big switch. Now we're going to be talking molt. We're going to be talking what is it, why does it happen, and how you can just be the best chicken mama, papa, or whatever it is to help them through it. We're going to be getting ready while winter's gonna be knocking right after fall. So come on, y'all, let's mosey on in and talk about it. Now first off, we're gonna paint the picture of fall rolling in on the homestead farmstead. For some of y'all it's your favorite, not for me. The leaves are gonna start to blush a little bit. They're gonna get some reds and some golds like a bonfire in the sky. Down here in the south, we might not get the full explosion of color, but, you know, hey, our oaks and maples, they're going to start putting on a show anytime now. The garden's actually winding down. Tomatoes, if you got any in this area, they're literally hanging on for dear life. But the pumpkins is plump and begging to soon be carved into jack-o'-lanterns if they last that long. Now, you're going to be hauling in the last of your okra and your peppers, and the air just smells like Earth's harvest because all the farmers are tilling and digging and doing everything they're doing. Mornings, I will tell you, they've cooled off. They sure have. So it's no more sweating through my overalls just to feed the critters. Now, evenings, well, that's when magic happens, okay? Fireflies, they're fading out a little bit, but let me tell you, the crickets, honey, they're still singing their hearts out. And they ain't nothing better than sitting with anything you want. Hot coffee, mostly for me. I like it. Just plain old straight coffee, nothing in it. And just sitting, watching the sunset, just paint the barns, all different kinds of colors and shades of sunset pinks. But let me tell y'all, fall, it ain't just about pretty pictures. It is a time of change. And it's going to be a shift from the hot hustle summers to hunkering down, getting ready for the wintertime. Your days, well, they're going to start getting shorter, and I don't like that at all. The nights, they get longer. Mother Nature is just telling everything to prepare us, you know, for what you got to preserve, what you've grown, what you've canned, what you've frozen, and just stock up everything you can in your root cellars. If you got a root cellar or freezer, fridge, whatever how you do it. So you're going to start noticing that your goats are going to be a little bit more woolier than before. They already know the first frost is coming. And the bees, well, they're not buzzing as much. They're buzzing less, and they're storing up honey for the hive's winter nap. It's all about that seasonal rhythm. It's a cycle. But today, I want to zoom in on the stars of the show, y'all. Chickens. Yeah, the clucking queens of the coop. My pecking crew. You got a pecking crew, too. Now, if you got a flock, you probably already noticed something funny going on lately. There's feathers everywhere, y'all. Everywhere. It's like a pillow fight in the run. That is molt, my friends. And it's as natural as grits with breakfast. But it can be a rough ride for some of these chickens, so I'm going to break it down nice and easy. And again, I don't know your flock. I know my flock. I can't tell you what to do, but I can tell you what works for me, and you can try some of those things. If it works, it works. If it don't, hey, it don't, you know? So let's just dive right on in and talk about it. Molt. M-O-L-T, molt. What in the crap is molt? Well, I'm going to give you a picture. Picture it. Chickens ain't wearing their summer threads forever. Every year around this time, late summer into fall, they go through a big old feather swap. It's called molting, and it's their way of renewing themselves for the cooler and potential colder weather ahead. Because you got to look at it like this. Feathers is insulation. It's protection from the elements, and even help with flying short hops or just looking real cute and fancy. But feathers wear out. Just like your favorite flannel shirt after a season of chores, if it's anything like mine, it's got holes all in it. So molting starts with the head and the neck, those little pin feathers that's poking out like new hair after a bad haircut. Then you look and it's working down their back, their chest, their wings, and their tail. Now I can tell you this, on my little pecking crew out here, for their molt, a full molt with them can take anywhere from 4 to 12 weeks. It just depends on my bird. So like my buff Orpingtons, they're usually a little quicker. But if you got fancy silkies, let me tell you, honey, them babies be dragging their feet on molt. So why molt right now? Why now? Just blame it on the daylight. Because as the days shorten and get a little shorter, the closer it gets to like fall, the hens' bodies, they sense that winter coming. Honey, it's like they flip a switch. The hormones are going to kick in, telling them to shed the old and grow the new. It's tied to egg laying too. So during molt, you're going to notice like production is going to drop down, sometimes way down, sometimes to zero. Sometimes it won't drop down enough to where you notice it. It depends on your flock and your floofs and what they're doing during this molt season. So now this particular time, it causes all of the energy that just goes into the feather growing instead of making eggs. And I will tell you this, roosters, honey, my roos, holy crap, Nana Roo, Lynn, Bobby, and Charlie, they molt too. But I'm going to tell you, these ding-dong noggin heads keep crowing like nothing's wrong. Oh, here's a little side fun fact, because you know I like to throw that in there for you. Chickens only molt like once a year as adults, but chicks do it more often as they grow. And let me tell you, stress can trigger an early or off-season molt. Like if a hawk scares the bejesus out of them, or the feed runs low or something, you know, they can do it then too. Because now last year, I had a hen who molted literally in July after we had a big storm, you know. Lord have mercy, poor thing, she looked like a half-plucked turkey. So just pay attention to your floofs. You'll know what they're doing, molt. Now let me just tell you this. Just don't worry, don't fret about it if your girls ain't laying eggs like they used to. Molt, all that is temporary. And come spring, they're going to be back at it again in full force. But here's the part where you can come in. And that's what I do. You just become a homestead hero. This is what I do on my part. And you can do whatever you need to do for your flock too. So it's just helping your flock through molt. It's like giving them a spa day, okay? So you got to make them a little stronger, a little shinier for winter, a little thicker, you know. So first things first, what I do here for the pecking crew is nutrition. So you got to understand that feathers are mostly protein. So you got to crank up the protein in their diet. So some people like to switch to a 20 to 22% protein layer feed if you're not already on it. And then they like to mix in some black oil sunflower seeds because they're packed with like fats and proteins, and birds typically love them like candy. And then add a few extra mealworms or dried insects for their treats, just a little extra. It's kind of like chicken caviar. And then don't forget your greens. I always do the greens. Now, y'all see me do lettuce here daily just because that's my vibe. That's what I like to do. But I will add in chopped kale, pumpkin seeds, pumpkin scraps, and I'll add in anything like leafy greens that are good, collards, whatever I can kind of get, because they need that for vitamins. I'm going to start giving a little extra oyster shells for calcium. And then if they're not laying as much, I still need to keep their bones strong with all this energy packing into feather making. There's a lot of different things you can do. You can also brew up some herbal tea with like nettles in it, or like I like to add oregano in their water, which you guys see me do that. And it just helps boost a little bit of immunity. And it also helps keep the slime out of your water buckets. So all you got to do is just like if you're going to make them some herbal tea with nettles or oregano, just steep it, strong enough, and you can mix it into one of their water barrels, or just put a pot out there and let them have at it. In there, just mix it. Make sure it's not too super strong. You know how to do it. So what you also want to do, this is a little tip that I learned a long time ago. I avoid soy-based feeds because some people say it can mess with their hormones, but again, that's up to you. You know what you like to give. So I try to avoid that, and I up their scratch grains as well. Again, I can't tell you what to do. I'm just telling you what we do and what works for us, and what worked for us for many years. So take it or leave it. Now, the next part you want to do is you want to try to keep the stress as low as possible, because while birds are in molt, they're also vulnerable because the new feathers are really sensitive, and they might pick at each other if they're cranky and angry and naggy kind of chickens. So my thing is I just give them space in the run. I give them, if you have to section off part of the coops, or you have to move certain girls into certain empty pens if you've got it, or if you're free ranging, whatever. You just got to watch out for those heavy molters, because if it's raining a whole lot, you got to still provide places for them to do dust baths. So they got to dirt bathe, because that's literally gold. So during this whole time, I'm adding a little extra diatomaceous earth just to help keep the mites away, and light. So with the days that are shortening, my girls need a little extra light in the coop. So we've got lights set on timers. They're just low watt LED bulbs, and you can do it like for 14 to 16 hours, but don't do it all at once. You don't want to confuse their cycle. You want to ease into it a little bit. And then like just cleaning the coop a little bit extra, fresher bedding, no poopy corners. You just want to prevent any type of respiratory issues or sicknesses. And I scatter like herbs like lavender and all that stuff around. It smells a little better, but it also gives them a little bit of a calmer vibe, and they think it's like some kind of fancy boutique while they're in molt. So those are some of the things that I like to do. Now, as we help them through molt, I got to think ahead to winter. So fall's the perfect time, like to winterproof everything. Winterproof barns, homesteads, coops, and for the chickens, you want to insulate the coop, without too many drafts. But you got to make sure that there's ventilation, good ventilation, because you don't want frostbite on combs either. So you got to make sure that your barns, your coops, or whatever has got what they need, so you don't have any potential issues coming up. And A lot of people like to switch to the deep litter method because it works wonders, and then layer in like wheat straw, pine shavings, the bedding, and just let it compost for more of the natural warmth in there. But that's up to you. And also add some waterers inside the coop so it don't freeze. Or you can do like we do, and we have the heaters that go up under them to heat it if you're kind of fancy. So you can do that. And absolutely stock up on feed. That's what we try to do because prices just might climb. You don't know. And you don't want to be driving in the area if you're got snow hazards or potential bad weather and all that stuff. So just stock up on feed while you can. Keep it in a clean and dry place. Make sure you're checking for gaps in your fences. And I will tell you this, these predators, they get bold in the cold because they're hungry and they don't care. Make sure your fences and holes and all that stuff is covered up and secured. And health-wise, just do a once-over on everybody. Trim nails, check for mites, worm them if you got to. Now, my flock, they're happier with a good place to perch or to roost up, under their shelter out there in their yard where the run is. So they're happy up there. So just do what you need to do to prevent, and prevention is always going to be key. You also want to make sure, you're watching your chickens, because the chicken molt is like seeing the seasons, but in miniature form, if that makes sense. So as the trees are changing and the leaves are falling, your chickens' feathers are falling, and they're doing their thing. So they might look a little bit ragged at first. I call mine like, oh my God, they're zombie chickens. Whoa, they look ratty and terrible. That's just for fun. But, when they come out on the other side of molt, they're actually pretty gorgeous with beautiful feathers, and they're just fluffed out, ready for frost and cold weather. And I will tell you this, it's a reminder for us, because at this point in time, you need to shed what's worn out. You know what I mean? Grow stronger and hunker down with what really matters. Because on the homestead, farmstead, whatever you call it, fall is going to mean more of the family time. So for me, it's going to be baking, cooking, more so than usual. Telling stories, you got fires going outside, and you're going to grab your garden shears and, trim up things that need trimming in that garden, fluff up the flock's feed, just literally embracing the time change, whether you like fall or not. That's going to be it for today. And if you love these tips and tricks and all types of stuff, I'm glad we were able to talk about molt here, because that was a question somebody had sent in. So I hope this helps you just a little bit. Be sure y'all hit that like button, subscribe for more, drop your comment. Just let me know, what's your flock doing this fall? What do you do to get through molt? There's no wrong answers. Everybody does what they do for their own flock. Everybody's got their own tips, their own tricks, and it's nice to be a community here where we can share that, because you may do something that we don't do that I haven't thought of before, and I might take that advice and try it, and it works. So be friendly to everybody. That's what we're here for. Community. It's all about trade, giving back, all that stuff. So until next time, keep it country, keep it clucky, and God bless y'all. Coming up with the fall and the molt, and I hope everything goes fabulous for y'all. And remember, if you can't be good at it.